They shot her in the spine, but she rose without feeling pain. When the sniper's bullet struck Navy Lieutenant Ellie Ross in the lower back during a covert extraction mission in hostile territory, her attackers believed they had eliminated the most dangerous operative in the strike team. What they didn't understand was that her experimental military conditioning and pain suppression training would allow her to continue fighting with a severed spinal cord, turning what should have been a disabling wound into fuel for devastating retribution against enemies who had made the fatal mistake of assuming she was finished. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The mission had begun 18 hours earlier in a classified briefing room at Naval Special Warfare Command, where Ellie and her 5-person SEAL team received orders for what appeared to be a routine hostage extraction in a war-torn region of Eastern Europe. Intelligence reports indicated that Dr. Sarah Chen, a biotechnology researcher with critical knowledge of advanced medical treatments, was being held by a well-armed militia group that intended to sell her expertise to the highest bidder among hostile nations. Dr. Chen's research into neurological pain management and combat performance enhancement had made her a priority target for extraction before her captors could exploit her knowledge for military applications. Her work on blocking pain signals while maintaining full motor function represented a breakthrough that could revolutionize battlefield medicine and soldier effectiveness in extreme combat situations. The technology she had developed was too valuable to fall into enemy hands. Ellie's selection for the mission reflected her unique qualifications and experimental participation in Dr. Chen's research program 6 months earlier. As one of only 12 military personnel who had undergone the advanced pain suppression conditioning, she possessed first-hand knowledge of the procedures and psychological preparation that made the technology effective. Her body had been modified at the neurological level to compartmentalize pain signals while maintaining complete tactical awareness. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel, it means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The pain suppression conditioning involved surgical implantation of microscopic devices that could interrupt nerve pathways on command, combined with intensive psychological training that taught operators to function normally despite severe physical trauma. The technology was still experimental and classified at the highest levels, but initial testing had shown remarkable results in allowing wounded personnel to continue fighting effectively even with injuries that would normally incapacitate them. Ellie's team consisted of experienced SEAL operators who had been briefed on her enhanced capabilities but were unaware of the specific medical technology that made her unique among special operations personnel. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Webb led the team with 15 years of combat experience, while Petty Officers Johnson, Martinez, and Thompson provided specialized skills in explosives, communications, and medical support respectively. The extraction point was located in a mountainous region controlled by the Kovic militia, a paramilitary organization with sophisticated weapons and tactical training that made them far more dangerous than typical insurgent groups. Intelligence estimates suggested they maintained approximately 50 fighters with military-grade equipment including sniper rifles, automatic weapons, and possible surface-to-air missile systems that could threaten extraction helicopters. Dr. Chen was being held in a fortified compound that had been constructed in a former military facility, providing her captors with defensive advantages including concrete barriers, elevated firing positions, and multiple escape routes through underground tunnels. The compound's location on high ground gave defenders excellent visibility over surrounding approaches, while the remote location made any rescue attempt extremely challenging from a logistical standpoint. The mission timeline was critical as intelligence indicated that Dr. Chen's captors were negotiating with multiple foreign intelligence services for the sale of her research data and personal expertise. Any delay in the extraction could result in her permanent disappearance into a hostile nation's weapons development program, where her knowledge would be used to create enhanced soldiers capable of fighting through injuries that would disable normal personnel. Ellie's role in the operation went beyond typical SEAL responsibilities due to her familiarity with Dr. Chen's research and the psychological rapport she had developed during her participation in the experimental conditioning program. Dr. Chen would likely be traumatized and possibly injured by her captivity, making extraction cooperation difficult unless handled by someone she recognized and trusted from their previous professional relationship. The insertion would be conducted by helicopter at night, with the team fast roping into a landing zone approximately 2 kilometers from the target compound. The approach would require stealth movement through heavily wooded terrain while avoiding patrol routes that intelligence had identified through satellite surveillance and electronic intercepts. Any compromise of their position would result in immediate engagement with numerically superior forces. Weather conditions favored the operation, with overcast skies providing concealment from visual observation, while temperature variations would complicate thermal imaging equipment that the militia might possess. The new moon phase eliminated natural illumination that could compromise their movement, while prevailing winds would mask helicopter insertion sounds from the target area. Mission success depended on precise timing and coordination, with extraction scheduled to occur before dawn when defender alertness would be at minimum levels. The team would have approximately 4 hours to reach the compound, locate and extract Dr. Chen, and move to the extraction point where helicopters would be waiting under cover of supporting gunships and electronic warfare aircraft. Ellie's final briefing included classified information about activation protocols for her pain suppression system should severe injury occur during the mission. The technology could be manually activated through mental conditioning techniques or would engage automatically if her nervous system detected trauma beyond normal human tolerance levels. The system was designed to maintain combat effectiveness even with wounds that would normally result in shock, unconsciousness, or death. The SEAL team departed the briefing with complete confidence in their mission planning and tactical capabilities, but none of them could anticipate the devastating ambush that would test Ellie's experimental conditioning under the most extreme combat conditions imaginable. Their insertion into hostile territory would proceed normally, but the extraction phase would become a nightmare that would push human endurance and military technology to their absolute limits. The MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter swept through the darkness at treetop level, its specialized stealth configuration and experienced crew allowing it to penetrate hostile airspace without detection by the Kovic militia's radar systems. The aircraft's advanced navigation systems and terrain-following capability enabled it to maintain minimal altitude while avoiding detection, though the mountainous terrain created constant challenges for the pilot and crew. Ellie and her 5-person SEAL team conducted final equipment checks as they approached the insertion point, their night vision systems and communications gear representing the latest in military technology. Each operator carried specialized weapons optimized for close-quarters combat, along with medical supplies and extraction equipment that would be crucial for Dr. Chen's rescue from the fortified compound where she was being held. The helicopter's crew chief provided hand signals indicating 2 minutes to insertion, prompting the SEAL team to move into position for fast rope deployment onto the designated landing zone. The insertion would need to be completed within seconds to minimize the aircraft's exposure to potential surface-to-air missile systems that intelligence reports suggested the militia possessed. Lieutenant Commander Webb reviewed final coordination details with his team through their encrypted communication system, emphasizing the critical importance of maintaining stealth during their approach to the target compound. Any premature contact with militia forces would compromise the mission and potentially result in Dr. Chen's execution before they could reach her location. The landing zone was a small clearing approximately 2 kilometers from the target, selected because satellite imagery showed no evidence of militia patrol activity in the immediate area. The terrain between the insertion point and the compound consisted of heavily wooded slopes that would provide concealment but also slow their movement significantly during the approach phase. Fast rope deployment began exactly on schedule, with each team member sliding down thick ropes in rapid succession while the helicopter maintained a precise hover despite challenging wind conditions. The entire insertion was completed in less than 30 seconds, allowing the aircraft to depart immediately while the SEAL team established a defensive perimeter in the dense forest. Ellie's enhanced conditioning was already providing tactical advantages as her modified nervous system processed environmental information with greater precision than normal human capabilities allowed. Her pain suppression technology included sensory enhancement features that improved night vision, hearing acuity, and spatial awareness beyond the levels achieved through traditional military training alone. The team's movement through the forest was methodical and silent, with each operator maintaining assigned fields of fire while advancing toward the target compound through terrain that intelligence reports had identified as relatively free from militia patrol activity. Their progress was slower than planned due to the density of vegetation and the need to avoid any signs of their presence. Navigation to the target relied on GPS coordinates combined with landmark recognition from satellite imagery that had been studied extensively during mission planning. The compound's location on elevated terrain made it visible from considerable distances, but also meant that the approach would need to be conducted with extreme caution to avoid detection by sentries. After 40 minutes of careful movement, the team reached an observation position that provided clear sightlines to the militia compound while maintaining concealment in the dense forest. The facility appeared to match intelligence reports exactly, with concrete barriers, guard towers, and defensive positions that confirmed the professionalism and tactical awareness of Dr. Chen's captors. Lieutenant Commander Webb conducted a detailed reconnaissance of the compound through advanced optical systems that revealed guard positions, patrol patterns, and potential breach points that had been identified during mission planning. The militia's defensive preparations were more sophisticated than intelligence estimates had suggested, indicating that the extraction would be significantly more challenging than originally anticipated. Ellie's observation of the compound revealed details that her enhanced sensory capabilities detected beyond what normal vision would allow. Her modified nervous system processed minute changes in lighting, movement patterns, and environmental factors that provided crucial intelligence about defender alertness levels and tactical positioning that would affect their approach strategy. The team identified Dr. Chen's probable location in a building at the center of the compound based on guard positioning and electronic emissions that suggested significant security measures around that particular structure. The building's concrete construction and defensive features would make extraction extremely difficult, particularly if the operation was compromised before they could reach her location. Guard rotation schedules observed during their reconnaissance matched intelligence predictions, providing the team with timing windows that would be crucial for their infiltration and extraction phases. The militia's professionalism was evident in their disciplined patrol procedures and communication protocols, indicating that any engagement would be against well-trained opponents rather than typical irregular forces. Electronic surveillance equipment detected communication signals that suggested the compound maintained contact with external militia units, potentially including quick reaction forces that could respond rapidly if the extraction operation was discovered. The team would need to complete their mission and reach the extraction point before reinforcements could arrive and trap them in hostile territory. Weather conditions remained favorable for the operation, with overcast skies continuing to provide concealment while wind patterns would mask sounds during their infiltration of the compound. Temperature variations were creating thermal layer effects that would complicate enemy use of infrared detection systems, providing additional advantages for the SEAL team's approach. Final approach planning required coordination of movement routes, breach points, and contingency procedures that would be implemented if the operation was compromised. Each team member had specific responsibilities during different phases of the mission, with Ellie designated as primary interface with Dr. Chen due to their previous professional relationship and her understanding of the research that had made the extraction necessary. The team prepared to move toward their final approach positions, knowing that the next phase of the operation would determine whether Dr. Chen could be successfully extracted or whether they would face a fighting withdrawal against numerically superior forces in terrain that favored the defenders. The approach to the compound's perimeter required 40 minutes of careful movement through increasingly sparse vegetation as the SEAL team closed distance to their target while avoiding detection by militia sentries whose positions had been mapped during reconnaissance. The facility's elevated location provided defenders with excellent observation capabilities, making the final approach phase the most dangerous part of the infiltration operation. Lieutenant Commander Webb coordinated team movement through hand signals and encrypted communications, directing each operator to specific positions that would enable coordinated breach of the compound's defenses while maintaining escape routes if the mission was compromised. The militia's sophisticated defensive preparations suggested that any engagement would be intense and potentially prolonged. Ellie's position in the assault formation took advantage of her enhanced capabilities and familiarity with Dr. Chen's likely location within the compound. Her modified nervous system was processing environmental information with superhuman precision, detecting subtle changes in guard behavior and facility status that provided crucial intelligence for the team's tactical approach. The compound's perimeter defenses consisted of concrete barriers topped with razor wire, electronic surveillance systems, and overlapping fields of fire from guard towers positioned at key locations around the facility. Breach points identified during planning would require precise timing and coordination to exploit brief windows when sentry attention was focused elsewhere. Petty Officer Johnson's expertise with explosive devices would be crucial for creating entry points through the concrete barriers without generating excessive noise or debris that might alert defenders before the team could reach Dr. Chen's location. His specialized charges were designed for stealth operations where traditional explosive techniques would compromise mission success. The first phase of the infiltration began when Martinez's electronic warfare equipment successfully disrupted the compound's surveillance cameras for a carefully timed window that would allow the team to cross the perimeter without visual detection. The disruption appeared to be a routine technical malfunction that would not immediately alert security personnel to hostile activity. Webb's team moved through the breach point with fluid precision, each operator advancing to predetermined positions within the compound while maintaining communication discipline and readiness for immediate engagement if their presence was discovered. The facility's layout matched intelligence reports, but guard positioning showed variations that required real-time tactical adjustments. Ellie's enhanced sensory capabilities detected approaching footsteps from a roving patrol that had not been observed during reconnaissance, forcing the team to take immediate cover behind concrete structures while armed militia members passed within meters of their concealed positions. The patrol's route and timing suggested randomized security procedures designed to prevent exactly this type of infiltration. Thompson's medical equipment included specialized sedatives and trauma treatment supplies that would be essential for Dr. Chen's extraction, particularly if she had been injured during captivity or suffered psychological trauma that might interfere with her cooperation during the rescue operation. His expertise would be crucial for ensuring she could survive the extraction under combat conditions. Movement through the compound's interior required navigation through buildings and defensive positions while avoiding contact with guards whose alertness levels appeared higher than intelligence estimates had predicted. The militia's professional security procedures indicated extensive training and possibly external support from regular military or intelligence organizations.
Dr.
Chen's location was confirmed through thermal imaging equipment that detected human heat signatures in the central building where intelligence reports had suggested she was being held. The structure's defensive features and guard positioning confirmed that this was indeed a high-value detention facility rather than routine prisoner accommodation. The building's interior layout presented significant challenges for extraction, with narrow corridors, multiple potential ambush points, and limited escape routes that could trap the team if their operation was discovered before they could secure Dr. Chen and begin withdrawal to the extraction point. Each room represented a potential deadly encounter with armed defenders. Ellie's approach to Dr. Chen's probable location required movement through areas where her enhanced capabilities provided crucial advantages in detecting potential threats before they could compromise the mission. Her modified nervous system was operating at peak efficiency, processing tactical information with superhuman speed and precision that made her the most effective point operator for this phase. The detention room was located on the second floor of the central building, accessible through corridors that were partially illuminated and potentially monitored by guards whose positions had not been completely mapped during reconnaissance. Any sound or visual detection would result in immediate alarm and coordinated response from the entire compound garrison. Door locks on the detention facility were electronically controlled, requiring Johnson's technical expertise to bypass security systems without triggering alarms that would alert guards to the rescue attempt. His equipment included specialized tools for electronic intrusion that could overcome most commercial and military-grade security systems. Contact with Dr. Chen would need to be carefully managed due to her probable psychological state after extended captivity and possible interrogation by her captors. Ellie's previous professional relationship would be crucial for gaining her trust and cooperation during the extraction, particularly if she was disoriented or traumatized by her experience. The team's coordination during this critical phase required perfect timing and communication discipline, as any mistake would result in immediate engagement with superior numbers of well-armed defenders in terrain that heavily favored the militia forces. Success depended on maintaining stealth until Dr. Chen could be secured and extraction could begin. As they approached the final phase of infiltration, each team member understood that the next few minutes would determine whether the mission succeeded or became a desperate fighting withdrawal through hostile territory with minimal chances of survival. The compound's defenses and guard professionalism had exceeded intelligence estimates, making the extraction significantly more dangerous than originally planned. The detention room door yielded to Johnson's electronic intrusion techniques after 90 seconds of careful work with specialized bypass equipment, revealing Dr. Sarah Chen chained to a metal chair in conditions that indicated systematic interrogation and psychological pressure designed to break her resistance to sharing classified research information. Her physical condition appeared stable despite obvious signs of stress and sleep deprivation. Dr. Chen's recognition of Ellie was immediate and emotional, her relief at seeing a familiar face from her research program evident despite her weakened state and obvious fear about her captor's intentions. Her whispered words confirmed that she had not revealed critical information about the pain suppression technology, but warned that her interrogators were becoming increasingly aggressive in their techniques. "Ellie, thank God, Doctor," Chen whispered as her restraints were carefully removed by Thompson's medical tools. "They know about the conditioning program. Someone gave them classified details about the neurological modifications and enhancement procedures. This isn't random kidnapping, they're specifically after the pain suppression technology and the personnel who have been modified with it." The revelation that Dr. Chen's captors possessed inside information about the experimental conditioning program sent alarming implications through the SEAL team's tactical assessment. If hostile forces knew about Ellie's enhanced capabilities, the entire mission parameters had changed from a routine hostage extraction to a potential trap designed to capture or eliminate enhanced military personnel. Lieutenant Commander Webb's immediate priority was securing Dr. Chen for extraction while reassessing the tactical situation in light of new intelligence that suggested their operation might have been compromised from the beginning. The militia's sophisticated defenses and professional procedures now appear to be specifically designed to counter special operations techniques and capabilities. Dr. Chen's medical examination revealed injuries consistent with interrogation techniques, but Thompson's assessment indicated that she was physically capable of movement during extraction procedures. Her psychological state showed signs of trauma, but her professional training and relief at rescue were overcoming fear responses that might otherwise compromise her cooperation during withdrawal from the compound. The team's movement through the facility toward their planned extraction route was proceeding according to schedule when Martinez's communication equipment detected coordinated militia radio traffic that suggested their presence had been discovered despite their stealth precautions. Guard units were being repositioned in patterns that would block their primary and secondary escape routes. Ellie's enhanced sensory capabilities were detecting environmental changes that confirmed the developing ambush situation, increased footsteps, altered breathing patterns from hidden sentries, and subtle equipment sounds that indicated armed personnel were moving into ambush positions along their withdrawal route. The militia's response was too well coordinated to be spontaneous reaction to routine security alerts. Webb's tactical decision to abort the primary extraction route and implement emergency contingency procedures required immediate movement toward an alternative escape path that would take them through more heavily defended areas of the compound. The change meant greater exposure to enemy fire but avoided the sophisticated ambush that appeared to be developing along their original withdrawal route. The first indication of organized resistance came when Johnson's explosive charges failed to detonate at the planned breach point, suggesting that electronic jamming equipment was being used to disrupt their specialized detonation systems. The militia's possession of advanced electronic warfare capabilities indicated preparation specifically targeted at countering modern military technology. Martinez's attempts to re-establish communication with extraction helicopters were being blocked by sophisticated jamming equipment that suggested the militia had anticipated the rescue attempt and prepared countermeasures designed to isolate the SEAL team within the compound. Their operation was becoming a trap with multiple layers of planned responses to special operations tactics. Thompson's medical monitoring of Dr. Chen revealed elevated stress indicators but continued physical capability for movement under combat conditions. Her knowledge of the compound layout from her captivity was providing valuable intelligence about alternative routes and potential defensive positions that had not been identified during mission planning. The ambush began with precision sniper fire from concealed positions that had been prepared by special operations personnel attempting extraction through predicted routes. The militia's tactical coordination and professional marksmanship indicated training and equipment far beyond typical irregular forces, suggesting regular military or special forces background among their personnel. Ellie's position during the initial engagement put her in the most exposed location when the ambush was triggered, making her the primary target for snipers who had been briefed on eliminating enhanced personnel before they could utilize their modified capabilities. The enemy's knowledge of the conditioning program meant that normal wounds would not be sufficient to neutralize her combat effectiveness. The sniper's shot was perfectly placed to sever her spinal cord at the lumbar vertebrae, a wound calculated to cause immediate paralysis and eliminate her as a tactical threat while leaving her alive for potential capture and interrogate the enhancement technology. The bullet's impact sent shock waves through her nervous system as her body absorbed the devastating trauma. But the militia's intelligence about her conditioning had not prepared them for the reality of how the pain suppression system would respond to severe spinal trauma. Instead of collapse and paralysis, Ellie's modified nervous system immediately activated emergency protocols that compartmentalized the injury while maintaining full motor function through alternative neural pathways that the experimental technology had created. The sight of their primary target rising from what should have been a disabling wound sent visible shock through the ambush positions as militia personnel realized that their intelligence about enhanced military capabilities had been incomplete. Their carefully planned trap was about to become a nightmare encounter with technology and training that exceeded their understanding and preparation. The moment the sniper's bullet severed Ellie's spinal cord, her experimental conditioning system activated with mechanical precision, flooding her the system with a cocktail of synthetic neurotransmitters, while microscopic alloys began rerouting motor control signals through backup neural pathways that had been surgically enhanced during her participation in Dr. Chen's research program 6 months earlier. The pain that should have been excruciating and incapacitating was instantly compartmentalized by her modified relegated to background processing while her conscious mind maintained complete tactical awareness and motor function. The bullet had destroyed her natural spinal cord connections, but the experimental technology had created alternatives that could maintain full combat capability even with severe neurological trauma. Dr. Chen watched in amazement and horror as Ellie rose from the position where the sniper's bullet had dropped her, understanding better than anyone else present exactly what was happening inside her modified nervous system. The technology she had developed was performing exactly as designed, but seeing it activated by genuine combat trauma was both vindication of her research and terrifying demonstration of its implications. The militia personnel who had planned the ambush stared in disbelief as their primary target moving with fluid precision, despite the catastrophic wound that should have left her permanently paralyzed. Their intelligence about enhanced military capabilities had not prepared them for the reality of technology that could overcome injuries that would incapacitate or kill normal human beings. Ellie's tactical assessment of the ambush situation was conducted with superhuman clarity as her enhanced nervous system processed environmental information without the distraction of pain or shock responses that would normally accompany severe trauma. Her modified identified sniper positions, automatic weapons emplacements, and coordination patterns that revealed the full scope of the trap that had been prepared for her team. The experimental conditioning included combat enhancement features that were activated by severe trauma, providing temporary increases in strength, speed, and reaction time that pushed human capabilities beyond normal physiological limits. The technology was designed to enable wounded personnel to continue fighting effectively long enough to complete critical missions or reach medical evacuation. Lieutenant Commander Webb's amazement at Ellie's continued combat effectiveness was tempered by tactical necessity as the ambush intensified around their position. The militia's surprise at their primary target's survival was creating hesitation and confusion that provided brief tactical opportunities, but coordinated enemy fire was still threatening the entire team and their rescue subject. The sniper who had shot Ellie was repositioning for a follow-up shot when she identified his location through enhanced sensory capabilities that were operating at peak efficiency despite the massive trauma her body had sustained. Her return fire was precise and devastating, eliminating the primary threat while demonstrating combat capabilities that exceeded normal human performance. Thompson's medical assessment of Ellie's condition revealed the impossible reality that she was functioning normally, despite obvious spinal trauma that should have resulted in immediate paralysis and potential death from shock. His battlefield medical training had not prepared him for treating personnel with experimental enhancements that defied conventional understanding of human physiology. Johnson's explosive charges were finally functioning as electronic jamming was overcome by backup detonation systems, creating breach points that would enable the team to escape the ambush zone while maintaining protection for Dr. Chen during their withdrawal. The militia's defensive coordination was breaking down as their carefully planned trap failed to achieve its primary objectives. Martinez's communication equipment was detecting increasing enemy radio traffic that indicated reinforcement units were moving toward the compound to prevent the SEAL team's escape with their rescued hostage. The time window for successful extraction was closing rapidly as more militia personnel arrived to join the engagement against enhanced military capabilities they did not understand. Dr. Chen's knowledge of the compound layout was proving invaluable as the team moved through alternative routes while engaging militia personnel who were struggling to adapt their tactics to counter an opponent whose capabilities exceeded their planning assumptions. Her research had created a warrior whose effectiveness actually increased under the combat stress that would disable normal personnel. The pain suppression system's operation was creating psychological effects that were as significant as the physical enhancements, eliminating fear and hesitation while maintaining complete tactical judgment and decision-making capability. Ellie's combat performance was approaching superhuman levels as the technology compensated for her injuries while enhancing her natural SEAL training. Enemy automatic weapons fire that would normally force the team into defensive positions was being countered by Ellie's enhanced capabilities, allowing aggressive tactical movement that kept the militia forces off balance while protecting her teammates and Dr. Chen during their fighting withdrawal toward the extraction point. The militia's ambush had been planned with sophisticated understanding of special operations tactics and capabilities, but their intelligence had not prepared them for enhanced personnel whose conditioning allowed them to continue fighting effectively, despite wounds that would eliminate normal soldiers from combat. Their tactical advantage was evaporating as enhanced military technology proved its battlefield effectiveness. Webb's coordination of the team's withdrawal was being supported by Ellie's superhuman performance as she engaged multiple enemy positions simultaneously, while maintaining protection for the group's movement toward their emergency extraction route. Her enhanced capabilities were turning what should have been a desperate retreat into an aggressive assault that was overwhelming prepared defensive positions. The experimental technology was performing beyond Dr. Chen's most optimistic projections, demonstrating that enhanced military personnel could continue mission execution despite catastrophic injuries that would normally require immediate medical evacuation. The implications for future special operations capabilities were revolutionary, assuming the team could survive to report their results. The fighting withdrawal from the compound became a devastating demonstration of enhanced military capabilities as Ellie led her team through coordinated militia positions while her pain suppression system maintained superhuman combat effectiveness despite the severed spinal cord that should have left her permanently disabled. Her modified nervous system was processing tactical information with computer-like precision while eliminating the fear and hesitation that normally affected personnel under extreme combat stress. Lieutenant Commander Webb coordinated team movement through hand signals and encrypted communications while marveling at Ellie's transformed combat performance, her enhanced capabilities allowing aggressive tactics that would have been suicidal for normal personnel. The experimental technology was proving its battlefield value as she engaged multiple enemy positions simultaneously while maintaining protective coverage for Dr. Chen and the extraction team. The militia forces were struggling to adapt their defensive tactics to counter an opponent whose capabilities exceeded their training and preparation. The ambush had been Lieutenant's performance was overwhelming prepared positions and creating tactical opportunities that her teammates could exploit for continued movement toward the extraction point. Johnson's explosive charges cleared blocked corridors and defensive positions while Ellie's suppressive fire kept enemy personnel pinned down long enough for the team to advance through areas that should have been impenetrable kill zones. Her enhanced reflexes and pain immunity allowed her to expose herself to enemy fire while maintaining accurate shooting that eliminated threats with surgical precision. Martinez's communication attempts were finally successful as electronic jamming was overcome by backup systems establishing contact with extraction helicopters that were inbound to the emergency pickup point. The pilots reported increasing enemy activity in the area with additional militia units converging on the compound to prevent the team's escape with their rescued hostage and crucial intelligence about enhanced military capabilities. Thompson's medical monitoring of Dr. Chen showed elevated stress levels but continued physical capability for movement under combat conditions. Her knowledge of compound layout was proving invaluable as she guided the team through alternative routes that avoided the heaviest defensive concentrations while moving toward their emergency extraction zone. The experimental pain suppression technology was demonstrating effects that exceeded Dr. Chen's original research projections, not only maintaining Ellie's motor function despite spinal trauma but actually enhancing her combat capabilities through elimination of physiological stress responses that normally degraded performance under extreme conditions. Her accuracy, reaction time, and tactical judgment were operating at superhuman levels. Enemy casualties were mounting rapidly as Ellie's enhanced performance allowed her to engage targets that would be impossible for normal personnel to address while under heavy fire. The militia's defensive coordination was breaking down as their planned ambush positions were systematically eliminated by combat capabilities they had not anticipated or prepared to counter. Webb's tactical assessment recognized that Ellie's enhanced capabilities were the primary factor enabling their successful withdrawal from what should have been a trap with no survivors. Her ability to continue fighting despite catastrophic injury was turning a desperate retreat into an aggressive assault that was demoralizing enemy forces while creating escape opportunities for the entire team. The compound's defensive systems, including automated weapons and electronic surveillance, were being overcome through coordinated team efforts supported by Ellie's superhuman combat performance. Her enhanced sensory capabilities were detecting threats before they could engage the team, while her immunity to pain and shock allowed tactical movements that would be impossible for personnel operating under normal physiological limitations. Dr. Chen's observations of the pain suppression system's battlefield performance were providing real-time validation of her research while revealing enhancement effects that had not been predicted during laboratory testing. The technology was proving that severely wounded personnel could not only continue fighting but actually perform at higher levels than healthy soldiers operating under combat stress.
The militia's reinforcement units were arriving at the compound perimeter as the SEAL team approached their planned extraction route, creating additional tactical challenges that required immediate adaptation of withdrawal procedures. The enhanced personnel's capabilities were becoming crucial for breaking through fresh defensive positions while maintaining protection for the rescued hostage. Ellie's ammunition supply was becoming critical as sustained combat depleted her standard loadout, but her enhanced capabilities allowed her to acquire weapons from eliminated enemy personnel while maintaining continuous fire support for team movement. The experimental conditioning included enhanced muscle memory and motor skills that enabled immediate proficiency with unfamiliar weapon systems. The team's movement through the compound's outer perimeter required breaching final defensive positions that had been reinforced by arriving militia units equipped with heavy weapons and tactical coordination that posed serious threats to helicopter extraction. Ellie's enhanced performance would be crucial for creating the tactical conditions necessary for successful evacuation. Johnson's final explosive charges were being prepared to clear the outer defensive barriers while Ellie's suppressive fire kept enemy forces at distance sufficient to prevent interference with demolition procedures. Her enhanced capabilities were allowing tactical exposure that would be fatal for normal personnel while maintaining effective engagement of multiple enemy positions. The extraction helicopters were approaching the coordination between air and ground elements required precise timing that was being enabled by Ellie's enhanced tactical awareness and communication capabilities. Webb's assessment of team status indicated that successful extraction was now possible due primarily to Ellie's superhuman combat performance, which had turned a sophisticated ambush into a tactical defeat for militia forces who had not prepared for enhanced military capabilities. The experimental technology was proving its battlefield effectiveness under the most extreme conditions imaginable. As the team prepared for final movement to the extraction point, the full implications of Dr. Chen's research were becoming clear through Ellie's demonstrated capabilities. Enhanced personnel could continue fighting effectively despite injuries that would eliminate normal soldiers from combat, potentially revolutionizing military operations and special forces capabilities in future conflicts.
The approach to the extraction zone required the SEAL team to traverse 800 meters of open terrain while under fire from militia reinforcements who had positioned themselves to block helicopter landing operations. Ellie's enhanced capabilities were crucial for providing suppressive fire that would enable the team to reach the pickup point where extraction aircraft were waiting under cover of supporting gunships. The emergency landing zone was located in a clearing that provided adequate space for helicopter operations but offered minimal cover for personnel waiting for extraction. The militia's tactical positioning around the perimeter created overlapping fields of fire that would normally make approach impossible, but Ellie's superhuman combat performance was neutralizing defensive positions faster than enemy forces could coordinate effective resistance. Lieutenant Commander Webb's coordination with extraction aircraft required precise timing as helicopter crews balanced the need to reach the rescue team against the significant threats posed by militia forces equipped with potential surface-to-air missile systems. The pilots were reporting heavy ground fire around the landing zone while maintaining readiness for immediate extraction once the team reached the designated coordinates. Dr. Chen's physical condition remained stable despite the stress of combat withdrawal, but her professional fascination with observing her pain suppression technology under battlefield conditions was evident as she monitored Ellie's continued superhuman performance. The experimental system was demonstrating capabilities that exceeded theoretical projections while maintaining complete motor function despite severed spinal cord connections. The militia's defensive coordination was being systematically dismantled by Ellie's enhanced tactical awareness and combat capabilities, her modified nervous system processing threat information with computer-like precision while eliminating multiple enemy positions through accurate fire delivered while moving at speeds that would be impossible for normal personnel under combat conditions. Thompson's medical assessment indicated that Ellie's enhanced conditioning was not only maintaining her combat effectiveness but actually improving her performance as the pain suppression system eliminated physiological stress responses that normally degraded accuracy and reaction time during prolonged engagements. Her capabilities were approaching levels that defied normal human limitations. Johnson's final explosive charges cleared the last major defensive barriers between the team and their extraction point, while Ellie's suppressive fire prevented militia forces from reoccupying positions that could threaten helicopter landing operations. Her enhanced capabilities were enabling tactical movements that would normally require significantly larger forces to accomplish against prepared defensive positions. Martinez's communication with extraction helicopters confirmed that landing operations would begin immediately upon the team's arrival at designated coordinates, but warned that militia reinforcements were continuing to arrive with heavy weapons that posed increasing threats to aircraft operations. The time window for successful extraction was narrowing as enemy capabilities expanded. The final approach to the extraction zone was conducted under heavy fire from multiple militia positions, but Ellie's enhanced combat performance was providing protective coverage that enabled the team to maintain movement toward their rescue aircraft. Her superhuman capabilities were the critical factor allowing successful completion of what had become one of the most challenging extraction operations in Special Forces history. Enemy automatic weapons fire was being systematically suppressed by Ellie's precise marksmanship and tactical positioning, her enhanced reflexes and pain immunity, allowing her to engage targets while exposed to return fire that would force normal personnel into defensive positions. The experimental technology was proving its battlefield value through demonstrated superiority over conventional military capabilities. The extraction helicopters began their landing approach as the SEAL team reached the designated pickup coordinates, their crews maintaining maximum alertness for surface-to-air missile threats while providing covering fire against militia positions that were still attempting to prevent the rescue operation. The coordination between air and ground elements was being enabled by Ellie's enhanced tactical awareness and communication capabilities. Dr. Chen's boarding of the extraction aircraft was accomplished under Ellie's protective fire as militia forces made desperate attempts to prevent their high-value hostage from escaping with crucial intelligence about enhanced military capabilities. Her research data represented strategic advantages that hostile forces were determined to capture or destroy rather than allow to return to friendly control. The team's evacuation from the landing zone was conducted under maximum threat conditions as militia reinforcements arrived with rocket-propelled grenades and heavy machine guns that posed serious dangers to helicopter operations. Ellie's enhanced capabilities were crucial for maintaining suppressive fire while her teammates and Dr. Chen boarded the extraction aircraft under combat conditions. Thompson's medical preparation for treating Ellie's spinal injury during helicopter evacuation revealed the extraordinary nature of her enhanced conditioning, as conventional trauma protocols were inadequate for personnel whose nervous systems had been modified to maintain function despite injuries that would normally require immediate surgical intervention at major medical facilities. The extraction helicopters departed the landing zone under heavy ground fire while supporting gunships engaged militia positions that were attempting to shoot down the rescue aircraft. The operation's success was being determined by the coordinated efforts of multiple military assets, but Ellie's superhuman combat performance had been the critical factor enabling mission completion against overwhelming odds. Webb's assessment of mission results indicated complete success in rescuing Dr. Chen and preserving her classified research while also providing dramatic validation of enhanced military capabilities under the most extreme combat conditions. The experimental pain suppression technology had proven its battlefield effectiveness through demonstrated performance that exceeded all theoretical projections. As the helicopters climbed away from hostile territory with their rescued hostage and enhanced personnel, the full implications of the mission were becoming clear. Dr. Chen's research had not only enabled successful extraction despite devastating injury but had demonstrated capabilities that could revolutionize special operations and military medicine through technology that allowed severely wounded personnel to continue fighting at superhuman levels. The helicopter's medical bay became an advanced research laboratory as Dr. Chen and Thompson worked together to assess Ellie's condition during the flight to friendly territory. Their examination revealing the extraordinary extent to which the experimental pain suppression technology had compensated for injuries that should have resulted in permanent paralysis or death from systemic shock and blood loss. Advanced medical monitoring equipment confirmed that Ellie's spinal cord had been completely severed at the L2 vertebra level, yet her motor function remained intact through alternative neural pathways that the experimental conditioning had created during her participation in Dr. Chen's research program. The technology was performing beyond theoretical projections while maintaining her combat effectiveness throughout the extraction operation. Dr. Chen's real-time analysis of the pain suppression system's performance was providing unprecedented data about enhanced military capabilities under battlefield conditions, demonstrating that severely wounded personnel could not only continue fighting but actually perform at levels exceeding healthy soldiers operating under normal physiological constraints and combat stress responses. The microscopic implants throughout Ellie's nervous system were functioning perfectly despite the massive trauma, rerouting motor control signals and sensory information through backup pathways while maintaining complete cognitive function and tactical awareness. The technology represented a revolutionary breakthrough in military medicine and human performance enhancement that had proven its effectiveness under the most extreme testing conditions imaginable. Thompson's battlefield medical experience had not prepared him for treating personnel whose physiology had been modified to function normally despite injuries that would normally require immediate surgical intervention at major trauma centers. His conventional medical training was inadequate for understanding how enhanced personnel could continue combat operations with wounds that should have been immediately fatal. The helicopter's communication systems enabled Dr. Chen to transmit preliminary data about the pain suppression technology's battlefield performance to research facilities that were coordinating medical preparations for Ellie's treatment upon arrival at friendly medical facilities. The information was classified at the highest levels due to its strategic implications for future military operations and enhanced personnel development. Lieutenant Commander Webb's after-action report was documenting the mission's success while emphasizing the crucial role that enhanced personnel capabilities had played in enabling extraction against overwhelming odds. His recommendations would influence future special operations planning and the integration of enhanced personnel into combat units where their capabilities could provide decisive tactical advantages. The militia's sophisticated ambush and knowledge of classified enhancement programs suggested that hostile intelligence services had penetrated security around Dr. Chen's research, raising concerns about operational security and the potential for enemy forces to develop countermeasures against enhanced military personnel. The intelligence implications were as significant as the technological breakthrough demonstrated during the mission. Ellie's physiological status was remaining stable despite the severed spinal cord, with the pain suppression system maintaining all vital functions while her enhanced conditioning continued to provide superhuman capabilities that had made mission success possible. Her body was functioning normally despite trauma that would have killed normal personnel within minutes of injury. The experimental technology included automatic medical protocols that were managing blood loss, preventing shock, and maintaining organ function despite the massive neurological trauma, demonstrating that enhanced personnel could continue operations even with injuries that would normally require immediate evacuation and intensive medical. At specialized trauma facilities, Dr. Chen's observations during the mission had revealed enhancement effects that exceeded laboratory testing results, with combat stress actually improving the pain suppression system's performance rather than degrading it as theoretical models had predicted. The technology was proving more effective under extreme conditions than controlled testing environments had suggested. Johnson's tactical analysis of the mission emphasized how enhanced personnel capabilities had overcome defensive preparations that should have been insurmountable for normal special operations teams, suggesting that future combat operations could be revolutionized through integration of personnel whose conditioning enabled superhuman performance under extreme stress and injury conditions. Martinez's communication logs documented the sophisticated electronic warfare capabilities that militia forces had employed against the extraction team, indicating that hostile forces possessed advanced understanding of special operations procedures and equipment. The intelligence gathered during the mission would be crucial for improving operational security and countermeasure development. The helicopter's approach to friendly territory was being coordinated with medical facilities that had been prepared to receive enhanced personnel requiring specialized treatment beyond conventional military medical capabilities. Dr. Chen's research team was standing by to continue monitoring the pain suppression system's performance during recovery and rehabilitation procedures. Advanced surgical facilities were being prepared to address Ellie's spinal injury while maintaining the integrity of her enhancement systems, a complex medical challenge that required coordination between trauma surgeons and researchers familiar with the experimental technology. The procedures would need to repair physical damage while preserving the technological modifications that had enabled her survival. The mission's success had validated Dr. Chen's research while demonstrating that enhanced military personnel could provide decisive advantages in operations where conventional forces would face insurmountable odds. The strategic implications extended beyond individual combat effectiveness to encompass fundamental changes in military planning and special operations capabilities. Webb's preliminary assessment indicated that enhanced personnel integration into special operations units could multiply combat effectiveness while reducing casualty rates through capabilities that enabled mission completion despite injuries that would eliminate normal soldiers from action. The technology represented a paradigm shift in military medicine and human performance enhancement. As the helicopter approached landing at the secure medical facility, the full significance of the mission was becoming clear. Dr. Chen's experimental technology had not only saved her own life and enabled successful extraction but had demonstrated capabilities that would influence military operations and enhance personnel development for decades to come through proven effectiveness under the most extreme combat conditions. The secure military medical facility had been transformed into a specialized research center where Dr. Chen's team worked alongside military surgeons to address Ellie's spinal injury while preserving the experimental technology that had enabled her superhuman combat performance during the extraction mission. The medical procedures required unprecedented coordination between trauma surgery and enhancement system maintenance. Advanced surgical techniques were employed to repair the severed spinal cord while maintaining the integrity of microscopic implants and neural pathway modifications that had enabled Ellie's continued motor function despite catastrophic injury. The surgeons were working with technology that represented the cutting edge of military medicine and human performance enhancement, requiring extreme precision to avoid compromising the systems that had saved her life. Dr. Chen's analysis of data collected during the mission was revealing the extraordinary extent to which the pain suppression technology had exceeded theoretical projections, with combat stress actually improving system performance rather than degrading it as laboratory models had predicted. The battlefield testing had provided invaluable information about enhanced personnel capabilities under extreme conditions that could not be replicated in controlled environments. The experimental conditioning had created backup neural pathways that were not only maintaining motor function but actually enhancing Ellie's physical capabilities beyond normal human limitations, demonstrating that severely wounded enhanced personnel could outperform healthy soldiers operating under conventional physiological constraints. The implications for military medicine and special operations were revolutionary. Lieutenant Commander Webb's detailed after-call documented the mission's success while emphasizing that enhanced personnel capabilities had been the decisive factor enabling extraction against overwhelming odds. His recommendations included immediate expansion of the enhancement program and integration of modified personnel into special operations units where their capabilities could provide critical tactical advantages in high-risk operations. Intelligence analysis of the militia's sophisticated ambush and knowledge of classified enhancement programs confirmed that hostile forces had obtained detailed information about Dr. Chen's research, raising serious concerns about operational security breaches and the potential for enemy development of countermeasures against enhanced military personnel. The security implications were as significant as the technological breakthrough demonstrated during the mission. The pain suppression system's performance during combat had exceeded all expectations, not only maintaining Ellie's combat effectiveness despite spinal cord severing but actually improving her capabilities through elimination of physiological stress responses that normally degraded performance under extreme conditions. The technology was proving more effective in battlefield environments than controlled laboratory testing had suggested. Medical monitoring revealed that Ellie's enhanced nervous system was adapting to the spinal injury by creating new neural pathways and strengthening existing backup connections, suggesting that the experimental technology included regenerative capabilities that had not been fully understood during initial research and development phases. Her recovery was proceeding at rates that defied conventional medical understanding.
Dr. Chen's preliminary research report documented unprecedented success in maintaining combat effectiveness despite injuries that should have been immediately, demonstrating that enhanced personnel could continue operations under conditions that would eliminate conventional soldiers from action. The strategic implications extended beyond individual performance to encompass fundamental changes in military planning and casualty management. The extraction mission had provided real-world validation of enhancement technology under the most extreme testing conditions imaginable, proving that the severely wounded enhanced personnel could not only survive but actually perform at levels exceeding healthy soldiers. The battlefield effectiveness demonstration had eliminated any remaining doubts about the program's military value and strategic importance. Thompson's medical assessment emphasized the revolutionary nature of treatment protocols required for enhanced whose modified physiology demanded specialized procedures beyond conventional military medical training. His recommendations included immediate development of enhanced personnel medical specialties and equipment designed specifically for treating personnel whose capabilities exceeded normal human limitations. Johnson's tactical analysis documented how enhanced personnel capabilities had overcome defensive preparations designed to counter special operations teams, suggesting that future combat operations could be revolutionized through integration of personnel whose conditioning enabled superhuman performance under extreme stress and injury conditions. The tactical advantages were decisive rather than merely incremental. Martinez's communication analysis revealed the sophisticated electronic warfare capabilities employed by militia forces, indicating that hostile intelligence services possessed advanced understanding of special operations procedures and equipment. The countermeasures encountered during the mission would influence future operational security protocols and electronic warfare development programs. The mission's strategic significance extended beyond successful hostage extraction to encompass validation of revolutionary military technology that could transform special operations capabilities and casualty management procedures. Enhanced personnel had demonstrated the ability to complete critical missions despite injuries that would normally require immediate evacuation and intensive medical intervention. Congressional briefings were being prepared to present the mission results and recommend immediate expansion of enhancement programs based on proven battlefield effectiveness that exceeded all theoretical projections. The technology represented a paradigm shift in military medicine and human performance capabilities that would influence defense planning and special operations development for decades. As Ellie's recovery continued under specialized medical supervision, her experience was being analyzed to improve enhancement procedures and develop training protocols for future enhanced personnel. The lessons learned during combat testing would be incorporated into program expansion that could revolutionize military capabilities through personnel whose conditioning enabled superhuman performance under extreme conditions. The experimental pain suppressor technology had proven its effectiveness through the most rigorous testing possible, demonstrating that enhanced military could provide decisive advantages in operations where conventional forces would face insurmountable challenges, while opening possibilities for military medicine and human performance that had previously existed only in theoretical research. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.